Hi guys and welcome. In this video we're going to be taking a look to see what's in this ridiculously overly bulky and super duper secure parcel. So just to save you the pain of watching me attempt to open a parcel for about 3 hours or so, I'm going to attack this and we'll cut the video and we'll be back shortly once I've got this open. So we'll see you in a moment or so. So yeah, if you just have a little bit of patience and we'll I'm sure I'll get into it soon enough. So yeah, back in a moment. Whew. Oh, right, so that's us finally into it. Wow, what a chore. Well, this has come from a thoroughly nice chap that I know called, and he did say to me that he always wraps parcels well, and believe me, that has to be the best, most thoroughly wrapped parcel I have ever received. And I can see at a glance that not only has he sent me the thing that he said he was going to send me, but he's actually thrown in some extra bits and pieces here. So we're going to scoot over to the bench and have a nosy at what's inside. Thank you very much. I can already see one little item there that you knew I was short on. I really appreciate that. We're going to scoot in close, we're going to have a look and see what's in there. So let's take a look in the box. We have a couple of funky little bottles with, unscrew the tops, oh, there we go, and we've got really fine little nozzles. You can pop the tops off and fill them up. Squeezy bottles, they're fantastic, they're superb. They will definitely get some use for bits of paint or something. I'm not 100% sure what yet, but I can certainly use those. They're fantastic, thank you. And we'll put those there. We've got some bigger bottles with some sort of dropper tops and what have you. They will be certainly one of those is going to be really handy for some isopropyl alcohol and general cleaning, airbrush cleaner type things. So different kinds of tops, that's superb. And that's a pop top type. Oh, they're fantastic, yeah, excellent. And we have got a pair of self-grip tweezers. Now these are fantastic, thank you so much. These any modeler will always find a use for. These are the coolest things ever, because you go like that, you put your part in, you let go, and it holds it for you without you having to keep pressure on. And they're great. I actually have a pair, singular, and now I have 3, thank you very much. And they're great for holding parts that you've just sprayed as well. And I mean, I use, like most people, I use clothes pegs and that kind of thing to clamp things, but these are just superb self-gripping pliers. Thank you so much. They are super cool. So pop those to the side. Here we have a bottle of Tet, and I am incredibly grateful for this because, as you are fully aware, as the viewers may not be aware, but certainly as is aware during our conversations, I was in fact running low on this, if I can ever get it open, because it's packaged almost as well as the parcel itself was. Oh, there we go. So, good old Tamiya extra thin cement. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much. Superb. There's a bunch of gloves. Now they're always useful as well for spraying and such like. I think I've got enough bubble wrap remnants from this to last me a lifetime of packaging things. And the thing that I was actually waiting for, the big reveal moment, again if I can get this open, we have some genuine US of A Klear Pledge Future, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely not to be used on any floor surfaces. Good heavens, man, it could absolutely ruin them. For those who look around the forums and look around the Facebook groups and everything else, you'll be aware there's a little bit of an in-joke there. There are people who use Pledge, like it, and never have problems with it and have used it for years. And there are people who think it is, you know, the most heinous thing ever to touch a piece of styrene and it is only good for floors and all the rest of it. But anyway, the whole thing is very silly, and it's quite amusing, you know. So that's absolutely brilliant, and this is going to enable me to do a comparison, because something I've always fancied doing. Now, I was going to get my UK bottle, which you'll have seen in my older video. I was going to get my UK bottle, but which of course the newer version of is milky, but still performs much the same. Now, one thing I've always fancied doing is a comparison between the UK and the US version, but the US version to buy in the UK, you can buy it, you can go on Amazon and buy it, but by the time you've added shipping and everything else, it really becomes not worthwhile, because it makes it very expensive, and it kind of negates the purpose of using this stuff, of using Klear or Pledge or Future or whatever you want to call it, in that it is a cheap acrylic varnish. It's not a wax, it's not a polish, it's a varnish. It's a cheap, it's thin, watery acrylic varnish, which is great for pre-weathering coats, pre-decal coats, that kind of thing. And I've always fancied doing a comparison, but I wasn't prepared to pay the sort of 10 or 12 quid I think it works out at by the time you've added shipping, because, as I say, the extra cost sort of negates the cheap factor of it, which you know, I consider myself a frugal modeler. I build pretty much out of the box. I occasionally do a bit of scratch building. While I can fully appreciate that detail up kits are incredible and add a lot to a model, they take, in my mind, a lot of justification for the price of a typical detail up kit. So, with bearing that in mind, I would have to have, for me to use a detail up kit, the kit would have to be very special to me for me to justify paying for it. And as I say, I consider myself a frugal modeler. That is to say, I like to build with what I have at hand, what's in the box and what I have at hand to scratch build. And part of being a frugal modeler is using products that were never necessarily intended to be for modelling use. And a lot of modelling products have in fact only become modelling products because they've been based on other things that people have used over the years. And then somebody somewhere has said, hey, you know what, let's make a product that's specifically for modelling use. Let's take a look at 2K Klear Gloss, for example, a prime example. Gravity Colours and groups like those have gone ahead and made tiny little modelling specific bottles. Now, it's good in one sense, because the hardener that you use for 2K, and having worked in the automotive industry as a mechanic and as a sprayer in the past, I do know that the hardener that you use in 2K does go off. And this is why even commercial size bottles of 2K aren't most commonly seen in big 5 litre tins, because unless you work in a proper spray shop where you're getting through gallons of the stuff every week, then it's just an impractical thing to do. So it's good in that sense, but it's bad in the sense that, like most modelling specialist products, they rob you blind. And my way of thinking is, if you're going to buy an acrylic gloss varnish for pre-decaling and for pre-weathering, and you're looking at buying a 10 milliliter bottle that's £5, but for less than £5 you can get a litre or 750 millilitres in the UK currently of Klear that will do the job, then why not? Save a few pennies. And unless you have a particular dislike for the stuff, then or you know, it's for some reason you can't get it to work for you or what have you, then go ahead and try it. Give it a try. You've got nothing to lose. It costs next to nothing. And the beauty of it is, if you don't like it, if you decide you don't like it, and you've got hard floors somewhere, and most people have in your kitchen, for example, use it on your floors, or give it to somebody that has got hard floors that can use it on the floors if you don't like it. But I've got to say, most people who've tried it, and most people I know who've tried it, have been quite delighted with the results of it. It's not a final finish top coat. I would not, I mean, you can use it as, but I wouldn't recommend using any acrylic as a gloss as a final finish top coat. I would always recommend using at the least an enamel, and for something like a civilian vehicle that you might want to buff and polish afterwards, then a cellulose or lacquer based Klear, which will harden sufficiently for you to compound and polish. So US pledge, absolutely delighted to finally get some of this to try, and I will be doing a comparison video, so watch this space, because as soon as I get a chance to sit down and prepare a test piece, what I'm going to do is, I've got this here, and this is a sheet of PLA from my 3D printing, which is a print that I stopped part way in because I realised I'd messed up on the infill. You can see the massive sort of, I think that was a ridiculously low infill amount, and I'd intended to make a bigger infill, so I stopped it before it got any further. That's about 3 sort of layers thick, but being nice and flat, that's going to make a perfect test bed. I'm going to prime this, smooth it, and I'm going to paint various different colours on here, and then I'm going to divide it up into strips, and I'm going to use a couple of specific modelling Klears. I'm going to use UK Klear, I'm going to use US Klear, and some other bits and pieces, and we're just going to go ahead and see how each of those work on these colours, whether there's any sort of colour shift or noticeable difference and that kind of thing. And it could be quite interesting to see what happens. Well, thank you for sticking with me and watching through this video. I was certainly not expecting the Tamiya Extra Thin or these really, really handy bottles. These are going to come in so useful, especially the ones with the little fine drippers. And the tweezers, that's just utterly superb. Thank you so much, you are an absolute gentleman. And I know I've sent you some coffee and everything already, but if you are enjoying it and you would like some more, I will very happily send you some more. And that's great. So thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Join me in the next video, where I'll show you how to use Tamiya X22 Klear to make your floors nice and shiny. I'm gonna need a bigger brush. I'll be right. Ooh.